Here are two sizes of Dreamcatchers. With similar making methods, both are composed of an inner and outer hoop. First, wrap the yarn around the inner hoop, then do the same to the outer hoop. Finally, weave the web to connect them. Please watch my demonstration of the specific making method. Let's start by making the large Dreamcatcher. First, warp the yarn around the inner hoop. To make it clearly for everyone to see, I'll use chunky yarn for the demonstration. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the website details page and paper instruction of our corresponding product. Take out a golden wire hoop with a diameter of 80 millimeters. Tie a knot on the hoop. Pay attention to avoid the connection point. Then, wrap the yarn around it. You can loosely wrap a few rounds first. Make sure to include this short tail inside. Then pull the loops tight. Mind that the loops should be arranged neatly and tightly for a better appearance. Here, part of the tail is already wrapped, so you can cut it directly. Next, pinch the yarn loops with your left hand. And continue wrapping downward. After every few rounds, smooth out the loops. Continue working in this way. Once you finish this round, you reach the ending position. Apply glue at the tail end. Wrap the tail around in this position. And then pull the yarn ball through this loop. Slightly tighten it. This creates a knot in here. Apply a bit more glue. And continue wrapping a few rounds in this position. Secure it with glue. Trim off the excess yarn tails. This hoop is now wrapped. Set it aside for later use. Next, wrap the outer hoop. Take this white plastic hoop. Wrap the yarn in the same way. Once you finish this round, don't cut the yarn. As you can see, this outer hoop is now wrapped. Connect the inner hoop to the outer hoop from below. Starting from the ending position of the outer hoop wrapping, place the yarn from top to bottom, about 4 centimeters to the right. A loop appears here. Thread the yarn from the bottom to top through this loop. Pull tight. This makes a knot at this position. Pinch this knot with your left hand. Continue laying the yarn from top to bottom to a position about 4 centimeters apart. Then thread the yarn from the bottom to top through this loop. Pull tight. Pinch this knot with your left hand. Continue downwards using this method. Make a knot roughly every 4 centimeters. Complete this round. Note that at the end, you need to adjust the knotting position. Make sure the last knot is about 2 centimeters away from the starting point. That completes the first round. Continue with the second round. Pass the yarn from top to bottom into the loop on the left side. Then pull the yarn from the bottom up through this loop. Tighten. Make a knot on this yarn. Pay attention to the position where you tie the knot to make this knot at the midpoint of this line, and be sure to tighten. Then pinch the crossing point with your left hand. Continue making knots in adjacent loops. Adjust the knotting position to make it at the midpoint of this line. Tighten. Pinch this knot with your left hand. Follow this method downward. Make knots in the loops from the previous round. Complete this round. Until you reach the starting point, and make a knot in the corresponding loop. The second round is complete. Next, work on the third round, making knots at the midpoint of adjacent loops. Complete this round. Finally, at the corresponding point of the starting position, make a knot in the loop on the left side of this knot. The third round is complete. Take out the inner hoop. Align with the inner loops. Then continue downward in the same way, weaving the loops and inner hoop together by making knots. Complete this round. When you reach the starting position, tie 2 knots at the intersection of the yarn and the inner loop to secure it. Pull tight. Apply glue. Wrap the yarn around this spot a few times to secure. Trim off the excess yarn tails. The large Dreamcatcher is completed. The making method for the small Dreamcatcher is similar to the large one. Start by warping the inner hoop. Cut about 70 centimeters of the corresponding color yarn through onto the sewing needle. Overlap these two 14mm closed hoops. Make a knot with the yarn end. Adjust them slightly. Offset the positions of these two openings. And place the yarn between the opening positions. When done, wrap the yarn onto the small hoops by using sewing needle. Continue working to complete this round. After completing, Apply glue. Tie a knot. Secure. Trim off the excess yarn tails. The inner hoop is now done. Next, wrap the outer hoop. Cut about 3 meters of the corresponding color yarn. Take out this golden hoop with a diameter of 40 millimeters. Avoid the connection point. Wrap the yarn in the same way as before. When done, don't cut the yarn. The outer hoop is now completed. Next, thread the remaining yarn tail onto the sewing needle. Following the same method, tie knots on the outer hoop at intervals of about 1.5 centimeters. Here, the loops are smaller. Using the sewing needle is more convenient. Pay attention to the ending position of the first round. The spacing should be slightly smaller. Continue wrapping the yarn downward. Finish the second round. For the third round, add the inner hoop. Weaving the loops and inner hoop together. After completing, tie a double knot. Secure the yarn tail with glue. Trim off the excess, and this little Dreamcatcher is completed. Up to this point, the making method for the Dreamcatcher has been fully explained.